Dire's turn to pick.
Radiant's turn to ban.
Phantom Lancer.
Ten seconds. Ten seconds.
5 seconds remaining.
Dire's ban now.
Here's the Radiant ban. Ten seconds left by my count.
5 seconds. What'll it be? The Dire get a ban. Dire's turn to pick.
Radiant's turn to pick.
Ten seconds.
5 seconds remaining.
Hey guys, с вами Ice, друзья. Мы с вами смотрим заключительное BO2. Для меня сегодня оно единственное оказалось из 4 матчей. Вкратце, состоялось у нас первые 2 матча, где победили Андайм. Это Эйс 2-0-2-0. Отменился у нас матч непосредственно Black and Yellow и Infinity. Black and Yellow покинули BTS, сам турнир, поэтому с ними матчи больше не состоится. Поэтому в какие-то дни у нас будет по 3 матча, какие-то матчи по 4, скорее всего так. Итак, мы приступаем к заключительному BO2 на сегодня. Latam Defenders, Arkosh.
Dire's turn to pick. Ten seconds.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, well, it does happen. Arkosh, I'm seeing that Grimstroke. That's one way to kind of deal with this Phantom Lancer as a support. You've got the Stroke of Fate that can fly out. The Silence, if you manage to catch out outside of vision, is also pretty potent. And you have the Inkswell combos with a Blink on Tide, with Mirana jumping in. There are options for aggression here from Latam defenders that we would have to watch out for on Arkosh. Well, thinking hard, probably looking for a pause 4. And the Wind Rangers. So, still flexible for Arkosh. They could run the core Wind Ranger. They could still maybe go for a mid DP, a Wind Ranger off, or off lane mid Wind Ranger no, I already said that. Offlane Wind Ranger is a possibility as well, though not as common. But likelier pause for Latam defenders to respond with less Shrek. So it's really good to tie in this draft for Latam. They've got a lot of push on hand. This is also one of the ways to deal with a PL, right? We see Leshrac into PL so many times just to counteract it. You have great AoE damage to burn through the PL early on. This should indicate that Pale Horse might have to divert towards the Hood of Defiance first, just so he's not going to be picked off as easily early on in the game.
Dire's ban now. Ten seconds.
5 seconds remaining. Radiant's turn to pick.
Where are the spiders? Where are the spiders, Mike? You got bit by spiders. There's one near your desk. Why isn't it eating the flies? What is it doing?
10 seconds.
5 seconds.
Yeah, you've... It's a solid option. It's an option that Ursa, you just worry about, again, the mana burn that can come out through the PL, but if you're confident about your Leshrac matching up against PL's timings, and Ursa should be enabled here, no problem. It gives you the Grimstroke combo as well with the Inkswell, a really nice lane to have for Latam defenders on hand. Might be some kite ability here from just a Wind Ranger Shackle, but that's not reliable for Arkosh. Their best reliable stun is that Ogre Magi, followed up with a silence from the DP, so the Ursa shouldn't have too many issues if they do want to last pick it here on Latam, but they are taking their time as well under last overall pick, thinking about that pause 1. Maybe looking for something that scales equally well. In that case, a lot of the other options besides Ursa has been banned out. So they're just gonna take their time here and yeah, just think about it, I guess.
Dire's turn to pick.
Monkey King.
Ten seconds left by my count. 5 seconds remaining.
No one can control them. Kyle said you would allow only one all chat. That's not going to happen. Obviously not. No one can tell these guys what to do. And without Wind Ranger, of course, should be interesting to see what exactly they get done. Of course, if they lose, I'm sure they're not going to benefit from Mr. Gerg. So we'll see. They do go with a puck class pick here. Still staying flexible. You should see the picks locked in. Keen is Vulpus puck coming out. Crow is on that support Wind Ranger. So we do have the offlane DP making its reappearance. Latam defenders looking tight. They've got good team fight. Ravage and Wukong is an excellent combination. Inkswell on Monkey King's a very reliable way of starting these fights as well. So I just on draft, I'd actually have to go with Latam defenders. I'm going against myself here because I'm out of cat litter and I'm not energized. But I think you have the response on Latam to control Pale Horse's Phantom Lancer. Pale Horse, he's been digging this one build up. I wonder if he goes for it again, just opting to go for Shard, Aether Lance into Octarine. He doesn't have the Keeper of the Light to lower the cooldown of his Spirit Lance early on. So you're not going to have that self-sustain for the spam, but eventually you get to that point. We'll see how it breaks out. But Latam defenders are looking a lot better here for game number 1, and they are looking better as well in terms of cosmetics because obviously Arkosh has nothing. Nothing.
No, they don't. Very, very worrying signs, actually. No cosmetics at all. All right. Get into it, John. Game number 1. I noticed you said you had no cat litter either, John, but you said 5 minutes ago you had a bag of cat litter underneath you.
I finished it. I had the bag. It's empty. It's empty. Canis Vulpus used some of it. He needs it. He says he goes to the backyard, but sometimes, you know, doesn't make it.
Prepare for
Seeing holes in your story, John.
Feel better.
Are you telling me I'm not actually Gremlo? How dare you accuse me of not playing this game while casting? I am playing while casting. Look at that.
Thanks.
Smoke mid, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for that, John. Arkosh Gaming gonna move through the mid lane with a big smoke. Right through the Radiant jungle. Now they might loop around through the mid lane and assume someone's gonna place a ward. And Nana is around, but it seems like he might be predicting this movement here from Arkosh. So for now, nothing being found out, but Arkosh, they can be quite patient. Very, very deep ward from Crow, but we've seen him sniping a lot of couriers before in that position 4 role, so I guess I'm not too shocked by that.
30 seconds to battle.
That's it. That was what the smoke was for. They don't find anything else.
This does set a time for Crow, as you mentioned. Courier sniping is one of his specialties, so you should be able to spot out some as they come out and intercept them, preventing items flying in. Of course, it makes it slightly easier for Gremlo in that off lane. Just having that courier denied off means he does win the regen war for the most part, and that just kind of enables this off lane DP to trade better up against the safe lane monkey that is coming out here for Latin defenders.
For once, we're in agreement.
2 for 2 banner and trade. Even stuff to start us off the game. It's like Aridus is just going to make his way back down bot by running. Actually going to go for the TP. Not going to attempt first blood either on the Grimstroke. Just ignoring that altogether, and he does TP in the end. Okay. Well, Valkyrie says hello to Pale Horse, and Pale Horse will TP towards the tier 1 tower, which makes a bit more sense because he really doesn't want to miss that creep block nor the creep wave. Valkyrie probably would have just kept harassing him had he not TP'd. Goat will join him now on the Ogre. See how all this goes, John. The PL versus Tide matchup does seem to feel like it favors Valkyrie on the Tide.
Yeah, he's got a lot of harassment early on. Pale Horse could try to play around with, say, Doppel or Phantom Rush if they want to be aggressive, but this kind of lane is a bit more passive. You have the Ogre Magi, who's just going to focus on forcing Moonlight away from the lane, and that's all you can really look for. So Valky should have steady build-up in the Tide this game. Not much from Arkosh to slow down that pace. Pale Horse just focusing on that initial set of farm. He is flying out a stick into a wand just to sustain, but you can see just how strong Valky is. Goes up, gets the gush off, and suddenly all the right clicks coming out from Moonlight hurt that much more.
Of course, over in the mid lane, you've got Nanana up against Canis Vulpus. Seems like the Puck should have a decent advantage in this laning phase, but we'll see how Nanana does go on the Lesh. Do you agree with that statement, John? Should Canis and the Puck have the advantage here?
He does have early control. He's got slightly better range as well early on. The Leshrac, actually the Leshrac has slightly better range, but the right clicks of the Puck are a lot better. And the wave clear of the Lesh is pretty good. He did go for the Lightning Storm build, at least level 1 Lightning Storm here at level 2. So he has a little bit of farming potential, but the Puck, the key thing here is that the Illusory Orb is such a low commitment spell. You toss it out, it goes all the way to the back. You can get some harassment off as well. And when Nanana does not get the bounce, it just doesn't end up well.
Here goes the first blood. Moonlight will be able to pick that one up on the bottom. Goat will be the first one to go down. Oh, that was happening. We did actually see Crow denying the courier of Aridus and getting a lot of items down.
Dire's courier.
Aridus not able to bring out that extra regen he wanted on the Grimstroke. And it does seem as though this bottom lane is actually going quite decently so far for Arkosh.
Yeah, I'm getting my last hits in 13-2. Having a good start on that DP. Kokoho is trying to watch himself. 11-1, not too bad, but the constant harassment Gremlo can pump out, especially since he has this early bottle up, means that the wave is constantly going to be shoved out. You can't really control it as well, and Aretes is just forced to try and hit back because Cocohook can't really gap close.
Now Crow missing a shackle there. Very easy shackle to land, but not quite getting the angle right. Still, Arkosh going to be very happy with the way this lane's gone. Like, I was having a decent enough time in the mid lane as well, but so is Canis Vulpes. I suppose I could say the same about the top lane. It's still a very kind of even trading lane for now. But Pale Horse is definitely not finding as much farm as he would like, but it is very hard into the anchor smash of the Tide. Of course, you've always got the Mirana to worry about as well. Just that arrow threat always going to be there, especially if you get gushed up by the Tide. Back down towards the bot lane, Cocohook. Taking more harassment now from Crow. It's actually going to be a super annoying lane, as every time he gets close, he gets Spirit Siphoned here by Gremlo.
The hero!
Aridus will try to hold back the DP. In fact, they go for the Boundless Strike, and now the Inkswell, but it's not going to reach. Gremlo is a bit too quick, and he does move out of the way. Suppose it does allow Cocohook to get back to CSing a little bit, though, but Gremlo has salved up, and he's looking pretty healthy again. I suppose Cocohook's hell has begun.
You're almost as
all
good
over
as me.
Yeah, they do have to pop a salve on Aretes. He is ready for this lane. He's got additional tangos as well to give onto Cocohook if need be. And Crow was not around to snipe that courier this time, so having a bit more value, although.
Windrun is not going to be enough to get him out of range. Cocohook. Nice shackle though, my goodness. Big range. Crow is going to get away by the skin of his teeth. Gremlo just hanging around. A few hits in onto Cocohook, but that shackle had not landed. That would have been an easy kill onto Crow.
Yeah, that saves the lane for the side of Arkosh, and they can get back to harassing Cocohook. And that early regen bought out by Aretes, he might need to expend it a bit faster still, fighting over the bounties.
Gremlo sticking around. The Inkswell now going to come in. He'll go for the double siphon. Is it going to be enough though? Cocohook, he's doing a lot of damage with the Jingu Mastery, but looks like it's actually not going to be enough. Gremlo be able to walk out. Latam defenders still unable to kill the DP.
Denied.
Yeah, it's just on the edge, but because he got his bottle refill, he was healing through that entire barrage. So not quite enough burst on him yet from Latam defenders. And again, Aretes is already out of regen. Pops the last salve onto Cocohook, and that is it for the lane. He's going to need to ferry out some more. Does have a ward and clarities in, but nothing for the HP, so have to watch yourself as to how far you dive against that DP.
Top lane still very even as well. Valky 27-4, Pale Horse sitting at 29-3. Things going slightly better now for the PL, but still much of the same story. Mid lane, Dream Coil being committed onto our Lesh, but he has the Pulse Quiver going. Arrow's not going to connect either, and Gremlo, he's been left alone. Canis, he leaves the building. Felt like they could have just kept auto-attacking there. No, he didn't have any friendly fires. Canis preemptively gets out, and Gremlo left alone to die.
Yeah, it's a big pickup here for Latam defenders. Gives a nice boost towards Nanana. Gets to go into jungle now as well to clear, and gives Moonlight space mid to soak. So you're winning out a lot here. You also managed to clear out that first siege creep. Don't have to worry about an early shove in from losing your Lesh. The thing here for Arkosh is that they are keeping the Lesh rack away from their own mid-tier 1. So Nanana is not able to maximize this early edict yet, but you should look at Latam defenders to start to play around that timing, as we have seen a lot of teams prioritize either the mid or the opposing safely in tier 1 just to get some space on the map here.
We have a quick disconnection here from Latam defenders. Check what's being played on. I'm pretty sure it's just the standard US East, right?
Yeah. I think the only time we switch is when it's Brazil versus other South American players or other South American based teams, mainly because they can play in South American servers, but the line across Peru and Brazil are different, so that causes some issues. When it comes down to US NA teams up against SA, I think it just defaults to US East, as that is the preference as well for a lot of SA players. So should be US East. I think the sheet says that as well. So it's something that I think Latam defenders have dealt with for a couple of times. They have been performing well regardless if they are receiving issues.
Have. Arkosh, quiet. Surprising stuff.
Yeah.
Now
We don't tend to see
you're
that. Not
fish
even...
food.
Well, I guess they don't have voice lines because, well, demons don't spend on games, I suppose.
I guess.
So they'd have to type out their voice lines, but very quiet. There you go. There you go. Yes.
Well, that was you, John. I mean, I just prompted you to say something, and obviously you've just said it. Uh-oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
Who's BSJ? Who's Moonlight talking about? There you go.
I
Hey,
know, but
horse
Pale
like
Horse
this
thinks he's a
idiot.
loser. Yeah. I don't know who that is.
Never heard of BSJ.
Kaka. What's up with Candace Vulpus and all the poopy jokes?
Poopy jokes are hilarious, John.
Promo code SPEED. There you go. Shout out to your boy Speed.
I did tweet at Arkosh the other day. Bit of advice.
Gremlo, me. What am I doing? My hands, I can't stop it, Mike.
Good to see Latam defenders actually having a chat with them. You know what I would love to see, John, one day?
Yeah.
If Arkosh was versing like a Filipino team. Because I know the Filipinos, they don't back down, you know? They will go at it.
Oh, I would love that. Imagine if Arkosh got to play against, like, Among Us version 1. Cuckoo, Whitemon, Abed sitting in there, Savage there as well. T-lingual insults. I'd love it. Oh, someday. Someday, Mike.
Assuming Arkosh can win and make it to a LAN, John. Your hopes up there, sir, but we'll see.
The drawings begin again. Like, look at those artistic depictions of... Yeah, I could use my art history here. So they're drawing out this shape that does seem slightly phallic, but it could be an expression of their inner turmoil. Now, the way it's rendered out is highly primitive as well. Could indicate that their state of mind is set back. Just
I believe what it
reflecting
actually
back
is.
on simpler times.
It's probably the most evil thing known to man in 2021. Penis, John. Very, very evil stuff.
Practicing my
Absolutely is.
backstroke.
Still,
Classic Arkosh stuff here.
they do get the reconnect, but there is a clump up top now. Na reconnects and heads up for that shove. Has a level 3 edict, and they have left Goat alone here.
Dyer's top tower needs
Goat.
some friends.
Can he defend? He's going to try for the TP. Moonlight, not going to see him in time. Does get himself out, but that tier 1 top tower definitely goes down. No real way to stop it once that Diabolic Edict has been popped. They'll just take care of it the old-fashioned way. Meanwhile,
Dyer's top
Sacanis,
tower is about
I thought he
to
might have
take
tried to
the
start a push in the mid lane, but Aridus is going to be there with the Grimstroke to try and hold it back. But the Inkswell now, Canis is going to get stunned up, but he does get the green call out. And Canis, does he have a way out of this? He can but the Boundless Strike is going to come in. And Aridus does outplay the puck.
That was a bit of a mistake, just dodging out a bit early, and now Pale Horse isn't safe in his jungle.
Palehol's definitely in danger. Latam defenders now getting very excited. Tips flying out.
Radiant's bottom tower has rung its last bell.
Dyer's
Get the
Please,
bot
they do
tier
get
1,
bottom tier 2. Tier 1, yes.
This
and they get to shove into mid. Still a Leshrac, not much downtime for that Diabolic Edict, and you need to defend this one. No Dream Coil though.
Radiant's bottom tower faces a stiff wind. Radiant structures
Again.
Invisibility.
Ignite there, Pulse Nova, Canis taking a lot of damage, and Ravage is going to come out. He had no orb. Goat also being split up into an arrow, and he's going to die. Well, here comes Gremlo to try and help out, but he's a bit too late to the party. He really doesn't have the ulti anyway, so he can't really do too much. He's going to spam the Crypt Swarm and try to help out that way, but he's almost out of mana, and that tier 1 mid tower is definitely gone.
Dyer's middle
Nice play
tower
from the defenders.
just got knocked down.
Yeah, Latam defenders just pushing right spots, playing while this Leshrac is strong, finding 2 tier 1s within the first 10 minutes is big. They do have a slight lead of 1k, but they are up 5-0. and they are getting everything on the map. They're still getting space out as well here for Cocohook to just keep farming up, and they invade the jungle, keeping that aggression up.
Why the hell not? Pro trying to stick around, but can't really do so. Pale Horse gonna go towards the bot lane instead. Look, is around the area on the Monkey King. He doesn't really have much in the way of items to really be able to contest this PL at the moment. Trying to get his Maelstrom up.
It's slow going for the Monkey King relative to the PL right now. You are actually more farmed than Pale Horse, so his focus on creeps has been much more locked in, whereas Cocohook, he's been jumping around, although
Jackals was there, Gremlo being caught out. Let's go down, Valky gonna backstroke his way up to the high ground, but nobody wants to stick around. Not good news for you, John. Gremlo end up dying, and we know with the DP you do tend to drop off if you have a few too many deaths. The second death of the game.
yeah, it's a rough time. I do have Exorcism up on Gremlo when I do respawn, so they should look to play maybe down mid to take another tower, if not top, although top's a bit rougher. But they need to equalize the lanes here for Arkosh, equalize the control they have on map. Can't afford to sit around waiting for this ult too long. And it is a bit risky as they waited too long that Valky does have Ravage back up soon.
Is under attack.
Does. Back into the die jungle they go. Has the clarity pop to make sure he has the mana for that match. I suppose with this Leshrac, you can just keep going for that tier 2 tower if you really want. Nana might find that he's a bit low on mana now as well. You can see Arkosh already grouped up and ready to go. They're gonna smoke up. However, Crow gonna be alright. Monkey, maybe not so much. The Dream Call is there into the silence, and they have caught out Cocohook. So a very nice pick up there for Arkosh, and that should allow them to defend that tier 2 top successfully.
And they're getting a good shove in as well. They probably still want to play with the Exorcism, looking for more.
They'll leave it be at this point.
Too tanky with that tied around. They know Valky should have the Ravage, but they'll look to try and shove. Not much time on the Exorcism left, though. They find a courier at the least, so that's worthwhile.
Could be dangerous, though. Moonlight's TP into the tier 1, and they are still looping around from the backside. Ravage committed. Goat is the one stunned up, and instead they're going to go on to Gremlo. DP definitely in trouble and is going to die. Goat, meanwhile, trying to TP away, is going to make it. But they've got the arguably best target. Meanwhile, Nana himself in the die triangle. Another nice shackles out from Crow, and that's going to make it so Nana goes down.
Yeah, that's a costly loss. The Leshrac is the highest net worth hero on Latam defenders, and that gives Pale Horse a lot of gold. He's already got the Diffusal up. Can easily just dip into that Yasha, into the SNY or Manta this game, and maybe even the value Hood of Defiance. He feels that risk. And Crow again, just being a nuisance, getting these shackle shots off, managing to get harassment off, making it tricky for them to stick. And are at this.
He's been caught out by the coil now. Power shot, however, actually flew right through him. No damage with that. Nana now going to rotate in with the Ink Swell out, trying to rush towards Gremlo, but doesn't quite get in. Arida's still alive as Kanan tries to chase him down, and Gremlo does just take the kill. Gremlo still not safe. Cocohook was waiting with the Wukong's command. Still trying to run. Pulse Nova there. He's going to go for the Spirit Siphon as well, but it looks like he is well and truly just caught out. He's eventually going to die. Meanwhile, mid lane Valky does get himself a Canis Opus Courier. Not want anything to do with this time.
They still manage to find pretty decent trades. You don't mind losing the DP too much. No Exorcism up, you're not missing out on a big window. You are buying a lot of space out for Pale Horse, who again gets to focus on his farm a lot more than Cocohook can. Although Cocohook does have the Maelstrom coming in once his courier respawns, so you will have more damage on the Monkey, potentially more farm coming out as well. And you have to watch it if you're Arkosh. You can't afford to let that Monkey bounce back. And it's still a really good response to the PL, and Pale Horse is going to be saving up for the SNY, but the top push is set to go.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Tower gonna be focused down here.
Throw a line to Radiant's middle tower.
It's sinking.
Don't have Nana though. Like he's stuck down mid by himself.
Ships.
They've got the coil, they're gonna commit. Gremlo's around as well. Silence is there, the Leshrac in trouble. Goat did go down to the top lane, but it won't matter if they lose their Lesh. But no, the Ravage comes in. Valky there to back up Nana. They'll kill off Canis, Vulpus, and Gremlo is again on the run. But he's gonna be cut off. Aridus from the Dire jungle looking to move his way in with the Stroke of Fate to slow him down. They ultimately are not going to be able to catch him out. So I think saving the Leshrac and getting the puck kill is going to feel pretty good for Latam defenders.
And they forced out the exorcism here from Gremlo. So you can't really get a push going now on the side of Arkosh, and they're going to have to wait for that spell to be back up if they want to take a bigger 5v5. And you are still investing deeply on this PL. So it's all about getting Pale Horse farm right now. They are actually buying him space quite effectively. None of the cores on Latam defenders are quite close. Even Kokok's about 2,000 gold apart. So you are finding wins in the pause one. It's just everything else is sort of falling flat here.
Mid lane, they're trying to harass Valky. He is a very tanky boy. The mech there from their Mirana Moonlight.
Radiant's middle tower is
Kind of
under
expect
attack.
Pale Horse to get involved very soon. Still top of the net worth board, still farming very nice. His team is starting to feel like they're going to need him to get involved. Yeah, top tier 2 again, John, is going to be focused down.
Radiant's bottom tower.
This time they've
is
got
under
Nana
attack.
around, so they've got the edict to actually melt the tower through. That should get the job done. Of course, that does allow Arkosh to also focus in bot. No exorcism means this is going to be slightly slower,
Faces a stiff
but
wind.
it should still eventually go to siege creep around. So they're going to trade tier 2 for tier 2, and they get to shove in the mid tier 1 as well.
They are.
Dire's top tower is gone.
Radiant's middle tower.
Tier 1
has
goes,
fallen.
top tier 2 does go.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Latam defenders starting to make their way back into the mid lane. Valky will go ahead and take care of the creep wave. Have Ravage back up in 10 seconds.
Radiant's bottom tower faces a
Bulb is
stiff
actually going to
wind.
sneak behind the tree line and... What he's up to though? He's looking to set up for his team. They might find Aridus by himself.
Illusion.
The D-Water. Alice not going to connect from Cooker Hook, but they know where the puck is. Arrow is also not going to land. Don't want to waste too much time chasing down this puck. Orb away back to the creep wave and he'll actually go ahead and farm that up. They still haven't caught him out and he's going to TP right out in front of them. Cancellation. What a waste of time and space created by Canis Vulpus.
Just gives Arkosh some breathing room. Still building up on Pale Horse. SNY up and running on that PL. So he is a lot tankier in the front lines now. Can get some damage in if he wants to join these fights. But it's a very patient PL here from Pale Horse, and we see this from him time and time and again. He doesn't necessarily want to join fights even with these items. He wants that Ag Shard, he wants the Aether Lens, he wants the Octarine before anything else. Of course, Latam defenders would like to farm, but
Canis gonna look to orb out of there. He did avoid the stun. Just fine. Meanwhile, Arkosh is gonna try and split push the other lanes and force Latam defenders to come back up top and defend that lane.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
yeah.
Pale Horse now, SNY up. Do you go for the Octarine Cooper again, John? Is that the play?
I think so. I think that's genuinely what a couple of core players that do still pick the PL seem to think, that the shard is just worth that investment. And they do pop the exorcism up top, so Gremlo should find this one solo, but they're going to trade the bot tier 1. Looks like if they're not careful. Nana is around, Edict is up, and it should be a direct tower trade, which honestly isn't too bad for Latam defenders. Arkosh shrinking map space just a bit, evening it out, so they still have spaces to play, but so does Latam defenders. You have to watch this itemization on the Mirana. Guardian Greaves up means they're so much more durable now, and they are smoked up, still waiting on that Ravage here.
They are. they really wanted to, they could try and make a play for the
Radiant's top
Roshan.
tower is on the rocks.
It'd be really early, but the draft they have, they could try to make it happen. Valky is in the pit. He's starting by himself.
Bring down Radiant's top tower.
Arrow is gonna whiff as well because he kind of moved. Bit of a mistake there from Valky. But it looks like they're gonna be able to get this uncontested. Arkosh, they are kind of nearby. They might scout this out in the nick of time. Goat is gonna spot out Moonmark. Roshan is less than half HP though. Goat is still the only one around.
Yeah, it's
Trying to stop the outpost being taken, but it's gonna cost him his life. Arrow is there, they get the Ogre, they get the Aegis. Happy days for Latam defenders.
Yeah, they find all the things they want to there. Unfortunately, they didn't have the outpost when it swung, so you actually did get a little bit more EXP on the 20-minute mark there for Arkosh. So some value from sacrificing Goat, but the free age is definitely not what you want. It's gonna be harder to fight in, although...
Paradise, Stream Call catches him out, Land there to boot, they have the pipe up. The Valky gonna keep the Grimstroke safe as now they look towards going on to Gremlo, but Valky gonna lose a bit of mana there by the PL illusions. And now Moonlight jumping in for an arrow onto Canis Fulpers. Shackle does not launch Nana. Can't land the split earth either. Canis does juke that out, but a nice soul man locking them down. Gremlo is trying to run, but he is set to fall.
You beat the crab.
2 down. But the one thing Arkosh does do really well, John, is they keep the bot lane pushed out quite a bit, and it's going to make it quite hard to get any objectives for Latam defenders.
And it should be enough time for Arkosh to reset here. Pale Horse with the Ag Shard is really good at de-shoving waves. Get the Lance off, creeps die, the illusions do the rest, and they can burn mana quickly as well. So Pale Horse is actually holding by himself quite nicely. There is still a Ravage on Latam defenders, but because of that mana burn, Valky just does not have the mana to actually counterplay.
Rogue go for a shackle.
Middle tower.
Place the Ironwood tree down, but a bit late. BKB now up on Cooklehook. So they should really be willing to fight soon
Jeez,
on that
Moonlight.
defenders because they still have the Ravage.
He melts. Like, the Lance chases him all the way, and the illusion damage is just too ridiculous with that shard, so you have to watch yourself. As I believe the shard, you know, does give increased damage, at least on the Lance, by 30%. So it's 50% damage illusions coming out, and that is the value in this build-up. Like, Pale Horse can play non-lane and get some damage off.
Cookahawk is going to try and fight by himself with his 10-second BKB, but no, he's going to go for the TP out. They force the 10-second charge out of the MK. Gremlo now going to try and chase down Valky. Again, he's a very tough target to get through. Pale Horse going to join in. Valky going to be okay. Guiding Greaves will come in and he'll just turn right back around for a gush, but now they've caught the left track. There's your Soulbind down from Aridus, but Gremlo is chasing the backlines, killing off Moonlight and the Mirana. Nana is also extremely low on that Lesh. Shackle is going to land perfectly as well onto Valky. They do get the Lesh, and now Aridus should drop, but still doesn't. Ravage is out. Valky going to try and get along with Cooklehook. They'll get one. They'll get a second. But they go for more. It looks like they probably can. Nana is moving forward now with the Boundless out. Pale Horse getting very, very low. Buyback is going to be there from Canis. Now the Shackle and Power Shot is going to kill off the Lesh. But they got Pale Horse on the PL.
My people.
Canis and Gremlo are going to also kill off Aridus.
We're not going anywhere.
And Valky is still alive, but that's a very nice shackle there from Crow onto his own Ironwood tree. Eventually, they will the watermelon.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Oh. That was a very back and forth fight from both sides. Losing Pale Horse is not great, but you can see the damage he does with his build-up. Like, so much damage flies out from the PL as long as he gets to spam those lances out even very early on. And in the end, Latam defender's not going to be feeling too happy about how the Aegis went there. You also lost that charge on a Bloodstone. Fresh Bloodstone there for our Lesh, not getting the full value. So you do have to worry about that. Oh,
Arrow lands there onto the Ogre. Goat had a bit of time to try and dodge it, but doesn't quite get there. take the outpost back as well.
Yeah, you need a little bit more here on Latam defenders end. We saw Coco Hook, he had to pop his BKB before the fight to TP home. Never ideal on a core hero like that. He is saving up for his Ags. Once you have that, more damage output there. But the way to deal with the PL now is getting a bit harder. You do still have that good wave clear, but the moment Pale Horse gets to itemize for, say, the heart down the line, you might not have enough damage to melt these illusions as fast as you'd expect here.
Low top lane. It's being stalked right now by Coco Hook. Looks like he'll go after the creep wave instead.
Radiant's bottom
Rest of
tower
Latin defenders
is under
moving
attack.
into that dire triangle. Arkosh,
is mine.
their way in, forcing them out.
Middle tower is under pressure.
Defenders not willing to fight without that big Ravage up. Pale Horse gonna run straight into Valky while he's in Viz. He's actually gonna find him. Delusions are getting quite annoying, I'm sure, for Valkyries. He keeps just running out of mana. Soulbind is there, though. They've got the PO and the Ogre, but it doesn't really matter. They can't keep up with them. And now Kremlo going to come in from the backside. On 3 with the Exorcism. It's a lot of damage, and Eridus will go down, but now the Ravage is out. They kill off Kremlo. Goat will go down as well. Crow also caught out on the Wind Ranger. A nice stream coil, but it's going to do nothing as they have no follow-up to it. Or maybe they do. They keep throwing out lances. But it's not going to be quite enough. Coco Hook is going to continue chasing up the puck. Arrow won't land. Canis can knock it out of this surely. He'll try to orb away, but he can't get out. The only one is going to be Pale Horse to survive. He's right back to farming. Latam defenders should be able to maybe find a tower out of this.
I mean, they've still got Leshrac. He's still fairly healthy. Bloodstone up at 17 charges now, so should be able to regen quite quick. You have to admire the warding here from Latam defenders as well. They have such good control on that bottom half of the map. They've got wards watching their ramps, wards watching the triangle, wards watching the lane. So Arkosh just have no real angles to approach these fights. And Latam defenders, every time they have that Ravage and the Wukongs, you get the combo up. It's very hard to fight too.
Tower under siege, excuse me, Pale Horse, Shackles out on the creeps, not gonna land. No idea what I was saying earlier on, John.
I didn't hear anything, Mike. I'm too busy playing DP, of course. Not a great game for me. I mean, I've got my travels up, got my BKB, Hood of Defiance up, trying to save up for my Shivas, but all I can really do now is try to split push, prevent the lanes from getting too out of control, and hope that the investment here on Pale Horse does pay off. It looks like he is actually just going to go into the Octarine, perhaps still holding off, only has the Aether Lens, but it should be the upgrade. So we'll see that come out, and we'll just see how balanced Spirit Lance can get. I mean, we still have to look for higher tier items, right? Like the Quickening Charm, Spell Prism is probably something Pale Horse will enjoy as well. We'll see if those drop down as the game goes on.
My apologies away to Pale Horse. I think it was all the talk about this promo code I was hearing about at the start of the game just kind of got stuck in my head there. Still been trying to figure out who it is. It's a BSJ character, but maybe I'll Google it later on.
Oh yeah, still another pause. Some connection issues here, but Coco Hook is immediately back. No time for the alt chat from Arkosh. Keeping it tied in. They are behind 6k, so considering that it's 20-8, only being 6k behind isn't too bad. That's mainly down to the fact that Pale Horse is the only hero farmed up. Look at Gremlo, way behind. I mean, look at me, I'm way behind. Look at Canis Vulpus. Canis Vulpus is also lagging behind in the puck. Does have his travels and blink, so you have angles to initiate. We've been seeing them try, but it's not quite enough.
So childish to laugh at this. At the same time, it's just so funny. Never gets old.
They can't even draw them properly. Like,
no, they can't. Like 2-year-olds. We need a second before we get the arm pause going. So what do you think Arkosh need to do, John?
stall.
20-8. Yeah, just kind of drag it out as
keep
long
stalling.
as possible, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
look at Pale Horse. He's already going for the Octarine. There's no dissuading Pale Horse. He will go for this build every time he gets a PL. I don't know if he's trying to prove a point because I think we've seen Lies do this, and we've seen him do it. And I'm trying to remember if we saw Fear do this. So it's literally every single PL we've seen in this tournament has almost always gone for the Octarine down the line. It is value. It is value, right? Like we just saw what happens to the supports when they do get chased down by these illusions. So they do a lot of damage. I think we just have to see that it really pay off. Like, it takes time, and you need neutral items to really maximize it. Quickening Charm, Spell Prism are what you'd look out for. So again, it just takes certain circumstances to maximize it. And Latam defenders, they're already scaling nicely. Cocohook has his Ags, can just stand in the middle and fight, get some soldiers up as well to get hits off. We already have, again, the Bloodstone up on Nana. He's saving up for his own Shiva's Guard now. And once you've got that, you're a lot tankier on the Leshrac, and you can sort of weaken down the rest of the line of Arkosh. That slow is something people tend to underestimate. Of course, the healing reduction effect is pretty nice as well. So you do have some good answers here on the side of Latam defenders as they still maintain that lead. Valky as well, going for the Ags on the Tide. So he's going to have that AoE Gush, which allows you to clear out PL illusions a lot safer.
Lane, an attempt onto the Leshrac. Canis will just get Yulesed up. Crow was there, smokes up along with Pale Horse. Not going to be able to close the gap though. Oh, just going to TP out of the bot lane, consistently keeping this lane pushed in. While Latam defenders, they were looking for the next Roshan, but it is going to be roughly a minute and a half before we do get to see it up
Radiant's
again.
bottom tower faces a stiff wind.
Latam defenders are going to have to come and defend this lane, push it back out, and maybe just wait a bit for the next Roshan, but they are starting to loop from the backside. Smoke up. Go is going to get run into. Smoke broken. Moonlight Shadow is there. Go. He will be happily tanking the gank here for the side of Arkosh. And everyone else is pretty much just out scot-free, apart from Canis, but he can TP at any time. TPs to the outpost after Gremlo. Valky. Shout. Slow him down. Gremlo. Spirit Siphon back. Light is also there, and Ravage going to be committed. They really want the DP. They're going to be able to get him. Still Crow going after the Mirana, but the Guardian Greaves are going to save his life. They still haven't got the damage out. They're trying. The Soul Plant going to slow down the Ranger. Moonlight somehow still alive, still trying to run. Pale Horse will come in and clean him up. Now Nana running back in. There's your Boundless Strike and your Wilcon's Command from Cocohook. And Pale Horse is not looking too healthy, but he is going to be able to doppel away his goad. Does throw his body at the side as Latam defenders. Does sacrifice himself for the greater good. Roshan is up in 3 seconds, so it's great timing for the defenders if they can scout it out.
They've just got to be worried about fighting without Ravage, as Pale Horse does have the Octarine, so almost full swing on this PL build-up. 3.8 second cooldown on Lance. We've got some more stats to play with. Just wondering what Pale Horse wants to go for next. We usually see some with the heart, but it does feel like he might want some damage itemization here. We'll see. Cocohook is soloing though, and a Monkey with the Axe, of course, can start the rush quite quickly by himself.
Kind of silly how the statues attack Roshan, John.
Has been killed. I could
Keep going.
One of those.
Arkosh are around. You're not gonna let this go down for free. Lance is asked to get very annoying here. The Latam defenders as they now move into the Roshan Arkosh. This is a good fight. Ball this point up, but the ball doesn't have vision. Arrow gonna land on the Roshan. Recall being committed, but it's basically on nobody. Now it's just an absolute mess. They do go in on Gremlo, dropping very low, still trying to heal up, but he will not make it out. They do at least get Aridus. But now Cookahawk is in the Rosharp here with the Wukong's command going. They'll buy back on Grimlo, but it's going to be too late. The Aegis and Cheese has been taken. And now they'll turn right back around to protect Valky. Canis still does get the kill on the tide. Cheese is going to be eaten, but what a shackle coming out from Crow, locking them down and getting the kills.
God.
Aegis already gone. Back on the Nanana. He is completely surrounded here, and another shackle out from Crow is going to mean they lock him down and should be able to get this kill. They need to back off a bit because they are dropping quite low on HP. In fact, no, he's going to try and turn this around. Gremlo has a BKB. He's going to be able to fight back. And Arkosh, they do end up winning that team fight.
And they make it work. They did grab Aegis on Latam defenders and do get the code for the time as well. Thank you, Goat. Not very pleased with you right now. Still, they find wins, and Arkosh, despite being 7k behind, the investment in Pale Horse is actually working out. So, Crow telling us what the timings are. Thank you, Crow. And they go straight into the high ground. You don't have Exorcism right now. Let the towers still melt to the illusion spam. Forces the fortify out. They are unhealthy on Arkosh's answer. They're gonna have to watch as Ravage is back up for Valky when he respawns. So a bit more cautious play here from Arkosh, but they are still in the game. Heart now being lined up for Pale Horse. His illusions are going to start to be a lot harder to deal with. And this is the point where you start to wonder whether or not the left track just kind of tapered off already. It's not doing as much. It still does damage, but it's not nearly enough to control Pale Horse up.
Very true, John. Heart of Thrust is going to make it very hard to get rid of this PL. They're still showing on the map as the game's going on. Smokes up from Latam defenders. They're going to try and go into the die triangle. It's like Goat might be there to tank the gank here on the Yoga. In fact, he'll make it out. This smoke is not really going to lead to much. They do have the option for Canis. He's going to reveal himself now with an orb out, but they have gone the other way. Back up north, where they'll go after the tier 2 mid tower. Pale Horse is going to be around to just keep defending. The illusions fly out. It's a lot of damage. A shackle there as well. They have the Greaves up the ledge, but now the coil is there. It's just perma-stun. He'll pop the Bloodstone.
Dire structures are fortified.
Those lances are absolutely disgusting to see. Another nice shackles down on the Marana with the Dagon out from... Who was that Dagon from?
Canis
Volpus. Valky trying to run, more lances to fly out, however, Valky's going to die onto the Monkey King. There you go, Cookahawk. He's going to try with the Wukong's command, but Crow just pops the wind run and gets out of there. Onto Eris, they get him before he can TP out. Back into the Wukong's command. They will find another.
Oh my god. They just
Arkosh Gaming.
From a mile away, Mike. This Octarine is actually working. Pale Horse, this is the most impressed I've been with it. Last time around, he just came in with all the farm in the world. This time, he's actually contributing to the fights, setting up for the team. And now with Heart up, you do not have answers for the PL. Timing on the exorcism from me, Gremlo, as we take the racks and Latam defenders from an 8k lead almost, down to almost nothing as they lose the first set of racks, maybe even more.
A very big deal here for Arkosh.
Inundated.
That tier 3 tower going at a nice steady pace. No exorcism left there from Gremlo.
Bottom tower has fallen. They're running full spread at Radiant's bottom barrack.
That'll be the bot rats also going down.
Barracks have fallen.
That defenders still hold on to one, and they have a tier 2 tower for that top lane, so no threat of that going down yet. But Arkosh gaining a heavy lead now in this game 1. Even taking the net worth lead there away by 2k, and you've got to be confident now if you're on this dire side.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot. There's even farm coming out here on Crow. Has the BKB, has the MKB queued up. A lot of setup coming out from Crow. These shackles are just ruining Latam defenders. I mean, they're not clumped up even. They're very disciplined with how they space themselves out, but the angles just keep coming in. I'm not sure why a certain manager doesn't like this hero if Crow performs this way.
Valky, shackles out again. Gonna lock down the tide, but the Kraken will save. Pale Horse now coming in with the Lancers, and you just can't bite into these illusions. They are so annoying. They keep spawning. Nana can't take him out. He's been stunned up, and now the shackles again.
My god.
Landing another great shackles. Ravage is out. It doesn't really do too much, but they get Canis. Crow dying to the Wukong's command. So The Ravage does end up saving him, but again, Pale Horse getting started with all the Lances, spamming them out over and over again. They get him with the Yule Scepter, with the Fire Blast, gonna stun up the Mirana. Now they might have to go for this fight. Nana just going straight after the PL, might be able to get him, and finally does. Gremlo is still trying to fight back. Can't kill off Eridus. Arrow is gonna connect, and Latam defenders
Your elements.
actually have Arkosh down with no buybacks, John.
Oh, this is a bad spot now. Very wonky team fight for Arkosh, fighting into Ravage and Wukongs and getting stuck up. The fact that Canis Vulpus just got blown up in the middle of all that is really costing. And now, tier 3s, Rax, maybe even tier 4 is going to be targeted as they know the buybacks aren't up.
I don't think they do though, John. None of them are on cooldown apart from Gremlo.
Are under attack.
It's just about not having enough gold. So that, yeah, there's the pings out. They realize it now. There's no buybacks. Let's just go for the tier 4 towers. With another nice shackles though. Crow really trying to slow it down as best as possible. But the shackles aren't going to be enough if they don't have this up and ready to go as Goat. Is going to get caught by an arrow. Another shackles. Not landing this time in Valky. Jump straight in onto the Yoga, onto the Ancient. There you go. And Arkosh so close to get so far, and all the tips going to come out for Canis Vulpus.
Radiant victory!
Oh boy.
Canis Vulpus, he got blown up in the last fight. They needed him alive a lot longer.
Radiant's turn to ban.
Dire's ban now.
Here's the Radiant ban.
The Dire
Radiant's
get a
turn to
ban. Dire's turn to pick.
Crystal Maiden.
Lancer.
Arkosh had some shining moments there, and if you remember the graph, it did bounce back their way and then bounced out of their way. So Latam defenders have to watch themselves. Arkosh, they might go for some crazy stuff,
5 seconds
but
remaining.
they actually make it work sometimes. So, you know, gotta watch how much you do give away there. But Latam defenders did manage to clean out. They found the opportunity, figuring out there were no buybacks and went straight for the jugular. Unfortunate for Arkosh. We'll see if they can force a draw in series. Latam defenders, though, do start with Mara on the tide once more. Arkosh, Crystal Maiden first pick, and the PL again. Pale Horse just refusing to play anything else.
10 seconds.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, pretty much. Maybe, because if you recall, the first series they played versus the team formerly known as Sad Boys, now Penta Ace, those were fast games, and that was Pale Horse not playing PL. When they actually did find a win against 5-Man Midas, they actually did play the PL. So I think they're just going back to that success story. And game 1 was not a success, of course, but Pale Horse was doing good. He was doing some good damage. Like, he had the Octarine, he had the Shard, it was flying out. They were melting, they just overextended a bit, and you saw the tips out to Canis Vulpus. Well, he did get blown up in the middle of everything as the puck, so that one small mistake can collapse the entire game. Still, we'll see if they do manage to get a better start here for the PL. They do actually take out the Leshrac, so Latin defenders won't have that response for the PL, which should mean Pale Horse shouldn't worry as much, and they don't need to worry about that instantaneous push the Leshrac does give.
10 seconds.
5 seconds remaining.
No.
Radiant's turn to pick.
It was more for the push. The pacing it gave on push was just too much for Arkosh to really match up well. Latam defenders do go back into this Grimstroke. So Marana Grimstroke again, just solid ways of jumping in. We'll have to see what else changes for their draft. Arkosh now have to think. What do they want for Gremlo? Do they go back to the DP? Do I want to play DP again? My answer would probably be no.
5 seconds remaining.
But I have no free will. I am just forced to play. Remember yesterday when they told me to press Ravage, I press Ravage even though there's nothing, so I just follow orders, Mike.
Dire's turn to pick. Earth Shaker.
Ooh. Yeah.
Ten seconds.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Latam defenders had room to pick up a Shaker here. They already locked in their 2 supports. Perhaps they're looking for better lane control. We see Shaker blocks to get that first wave up against a tower and take control early on. That could be just what Arkosh prioritizes in this case, thinking about what they want to combine it with on the off lane there for Gremlo. So still have to wait for that off lane flex. Latam defenders do go into the PA. which is an interesting one into the PL. So Battle Fury is going to be there. You have some way of cleaving into the illusions. At the same time, the PL will need an MKB at some point. If not, someone else will need to build, say, a Silver Edge or a Blood Torrent to deal with PA, but it's a back and forth one that's sort of dependent on item timings. The PA, if it does get a pretty good start here, can just overtake, and you do have this nice combo of Blink in with the Inkswell on the Grimstroke, so there's some early aggression Latam defenders can get out. Arkosh will have to watch themselves with whatever they toss in here on the offlane.
Is the Radiant Band.
Void incarnate.
Ten seconds.
5 seconds
it's a
remaining.
straightforward pick. We haven't seen too much of it in the past few series, at least for today, but it is still potent. It's popular all across the tournament. We'll see. Arkosh has some flex. It could be a Void Spirit off if they want to pick something else mid, if the matchup doesn't favor them, but they don't have last pick, so they're not going to have that to react to what Latam Defenders has. Still have a couple of options here as well for Arkosh if they did want to flex around. I mean, the OD is in the pool right now, so you could still run off-lane OD for Gremlo if you want that. It does play nicely with Shaker, easy setup for a good fissure, and you can build off of that. So it also punishes the PA to a certain extent, but the evasion kind of makes it wonky for the OD as well. But there are not many high mana heroes here, so Santi's Eclipse can be something you play around if you do go for that last pick here for Arkosh.
10 seconds.
5 seconds remaining. Radiant's turn to pick.
I could play the Void Spirit and they could maybe give Candace of Opus something like a Morphling if you want to go into that, but Morphling PL sounds really strange. They go with the Razor instead, so that's the response to the PA. Just static link her up when she dives in, and she's not going to do damage. A really good response for Arkosh to play with. Of course, you do sort of lack good teamfight control. I mean, you have Shaker, but that takes a blink, that takes even the Ag Short if you want to really maximize it. So the control is not as easy to get out, whereas for Latam defenders, Tidehunter can just walk up, get the Ravage off. We've seen Valky be very patient for those Ravages, so you don't need as much to get started on that 5-man fight. And Latam defenders do pick up another natural counter for the PL. Ember Spirit comes out, so you do have a lot of options here. The control for Arkosh on the Ember is pretty decent. CM Root. If you do latch the Remnant Swell, you can follow up with Shaker stuns quite nicely. But Latam does have solid ways of dealing with Pale Horse's illusion spam now. So we'll see if it's the same build-up here for the Diffusal SNY into Octarine for Pale Horse. It's looking a bit better tied up for Latam defenders. They don't have as much push as they did in game 1. That's the one thing they lose with the Ember over Lesh, but they still have all the answers in terms of draft matchups here. The one thing that you may be worried about is the Razor taking too much control over Cook-a-Hook, but that's also one that's not very straightforward. Sometimes the PA, doesn't blink in, just waits for the static link first, and you can blink out and break that quite fast. So have to watch when you use that spell. for me in this game, for me, Gremlo. And should make for an interesting game too, as Arkosh is looking to tie this one out.
Thank you for that, John. That damn fly stuck around me, by the way.
You should
Doing
get
my
that
head in
spider
this-
that bit you. Get him to get the job done, Mike. It bit you already. It should bite this fly as well, you know?
I'm afraid that spider's no longer in this world, John. Didn't want to say it on screen. But
I thought you actually... I thought you'd bring it to your router. You know? Build up the tenancy on your router. And then collect, I don't know, fly rent.
they haven't been paying rent, John. I had to send a message. He went to the router. Just not living anymore. That Arkosh smoked up. As for this time around, it's not quite bringing Canis along. See if Crow wants to go for that same kind of ward. You don't generally do it from the Radiant side because you don't usually go up this way to snipe couriers. But they actually just want a first blood, Crow. Place that ward yet? Smoke wears off now, but they can hold the high ground and be very patient and just wait for somebody to come back their way. Latam defenders might have a good idea that this is happening.
30 seconds
Now,
to battle.
come creeping in as there's a pause.
Now you're
And
just food.
that's a time I don't believe Latam defenders can see, as you can see by the fog of war. Arkosh are still covered. I'm not sure if they got caught by this server ward right here, but I don't believe anyone ran this way from Arkosh. So I'm pretty sure Latam defenders still have no idea this is happening.
Yeah, they should still have the angle here. Just slightly awkward, but we'll see if Arkosh does come in hard for that level 1 kill. Not quite leveling anything on Goat yet, so could go for the slow or the root. But so far, got some good chances here.
Someone's drawing some very square. I condemn pictures. Casters all chatting now as well. Why can't we all chat, John?
Yes, we can.
Can we?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Graham. Thank you for that, John. Want to explain why you typed that out, by the way? The thing before you typed in your main account?
I can't help myself. I can't help myself.
I have no idea what he's saying, John. Can you translate?
Hi to Hermana. Woman? Cocohooks? Hermana? Mom? Is that mom or sister? It's either mom, so yeah, it's sister. Shout out to Cocohook's sister. Yasu Prima de Aretes. I have no idea what that is.
Fair enough.
Two team Cocohook. Me team Kakahook. Always with the poop with Canis Vulpus. Always with caca.
Like the Latam defenders are actually having a bit of fun with them as well. Regardless of the language barriers we're having here. It's good to see that they're both just having a good time. Some teams like to just ignore Arkosh. I don't blame those guys either, but you know, it's nice to see people getting along.
Oh, it definitely is. Okay, so it's cousin, right? And that's Prima de Aretes. So saying hi to Cocohook's sister and Aretes' cousin for whatever reason. All right. Every Harry Potter book written. They really want to go here on Arkosh's end. Now I need to pause. All right.
Okay.
Stop it! Stop it, me. How was work today, John? Good.
Are they talking to you? Great. Now my co-caster's in the game typing. Amazing.
And we got Aretes out this time. So, yeah, probably saying hi to his cousin, I guess. I don't know what's up with that with Valky, but hey.
So how do you think this ends up, John? Does Arkosh make their way up the staircase and can they get a first blood?
Well, it's awkward. Crow needs to turn around. But he has boots, so that shouldn't be too big of an issue. Let's see, can I draw on the map? No. How do you draw on the map again? I want to start drawing some pads here. Is it Alt? Is it Control? Is it Shift? I can't I mean, I can draw on the map, but not the same.
There you go.
Anyway,
Put a
Crow
call.
needs to just turn around, walk with Gremlo, and get the static link off on basically Aretas. Although Moonlight's fine as well because he did get the arrow up instead of the jump.
They're talking to you, John.
Yeah, it's nice. It's like casting and playing Gremlo. That's it. But look, they went circular now, Mike. They're back to circles. We're back to circles. I don't know what's going on. I feel my brain feels fried. Candace Volpus just wants to go. What is this?
I'm not sure what we're waiting on. I mean, there is a DC. Like, Aridus is having some issues.
Yeah, it's his cousin. Cousin's around, I guess. You remember like GTA 4? Yeah, you ever play that, Mike? Your cousin,
Yes.
Nico Bellic. Hey, let's go bowling! They're probably out bowling. You can't say no to Nico, you know?
Thank you, John.
What
I
is
was,
that?
What do you mean, what
That's-
is that?
They're tree circles. They do three-piece, a three-prong thing. That one. What is this?
It's your
Okay,
drawing,
okay.
John. It's Gremlo
Okay,
drawing.
I understand it now. I do not need to explain myself.
Great, now the admin's involved.
Hello, Kyle. Yes. It is Kyle today. Doogie the birthday boy is, of course, gone.
turn this time
Everyone's
to
saying to
our
defend every
advantage.
single objective. That is the game plan, of course, if you can. Do those things not fade if it's not
No.
unpaused?
No, because we're paused, John. So both teams have found a way to annoy us even more during this pause. Fantastic.
Latam defenders need to get their game on point, though. They haven't pinged everything
Now
now.
I'm falling a bit behind.
They left one tower as well on the side of Latam defenders. Arkosh
Put a call.
leaving their mid. Need to spam that a bit more.
These Arkosh guys, they are
Put a call.
they're the worst in John. Worst.
They say they're like 1,000 years old, but their comedy is very juvenile, if you think about it. Not very.
Who was it that
mature.
were which one was it that was 1,200 years old?
I think it's supposedly Goat.
Goat, right? It was Goat.
Because he wakes them up and stuff. Created Arkosh or what have you. Oh, there's a reconnect.
Excellent.
Crow's running out of ideas. There we go. There's the go ahead.
was good of you.
Turn
They
around,
get
Crow.
the first blood. Look at all the pings coming out, and they. Oh, Aridus, wake up, Aridus! Oh, he's been awakened now, John. Crow's gonna chase him down along with Gremlo, and Aridus is more than likely just set to die, unless he can literally just outrun them. No, he turns back around for the stroke of fate, and that is going to confirm his own death. Meanwhile, Moonlight also going down. Goat will be able to pick that one up with the Crystal Nova. 2 on the bounty runes. Or maybe not. No, it's a 4 for O.
He did give away 2 kills. Like, they salvage it. This is one way to kind of fix that situation, but you still gave 2 kills. That still gives them a slight net worth lead, so do recover from that. And Arkosh not going to be too pleased. They also don't get to get a good block off because Crow obviously wasn't around for the first creep wave. So creep wave is not going to be as shoved out as well here for Arkosh's end. This is something Latam defenders can play up top. Cocohook is around in the PA with Aretas on the Grimstroke. Gremlo early on will just want to leverage that static link. Cocohook is not going to have the leveling blink, so you can run him down a bit. If you had Fissure, this would be better, but Crow is just focusing on zoning out Aretas for the most part here.
Coming from backside, Cocohook and Aridus seem to pay him no attention. Gremlo needs to really try and dominate the lane while he has the static link damage his way.
Where you watching?
You know, the Earthshaker not really going to be able to do much to help him out in this laning phase, I don't think. You can throw a Fisher out or two, but apart from that, there's not really much in the way of harassment towards Kukulhook or Aridus that the Earthshaker can do. So we'll have a look at the other lanes, where mid lane, Canis Vulpus was underneath the Dire Tier tower. Doesn't really take any damage from it though. Trying to deny creeps away from Nana. So far, pretty even between the two. I still think the Void Spirit should have an advantage just based off the heroes. But Nana really shouldn't fall too far behind either.
Now it has to watch out for going for a sleight of fists like that in front of a Remnant. Don't really dodge it, just delay it still. This one is rather even. It's a back and forth one. I think other players as well have said it's a very mechanics-based mid, and so far both sides are keeping it even, finding their farm. We'll have to see how it develops once they get their level 5 spikes, and especially level 6. Supports will want to come in as well.
Gonna go down here, Moonlight throwing tip over to the CM. Nice arrow there from Moonlight. Drawing the kill did occur, and it's gonna leave Pale Horse alone for a while on that PL. Like he's going to take a bit of harassment, but he will trade it back Moonlight's way. Of course, now he does have the CM back. That goat has been relegated to just go for a small camp pull, and a D ward for that matter, as there is no small camp to actually pull.
Yeah, it's at least going to free it up for the next minute. They can equalize their lanes then, but already a bit of a rough time. Moonlight could try to just get the EXP he wants as well in the large camp, which was left open. So our Mirana's getting some steady EXP because the large camp access is left alone. You do have options of maybe trying to be aggressive with a Spirit Lance, but with a CM support, I think you are looking to be slightly more passive here.
Mid lane still very even between the two. Nana just one last hit behind. Who should be able to get it pretty darn soon, and gets the chains off on Canis. Top lane, Gremlo, he is slowing down the farm of Kukulhook. That's for sure, as Kukulhook just seems to never have any damage to use. Very annoying on the Razor. Time the PA does come close, he does just get hit over and over again. Burn through a lot of regen here as the Plasma Field even coming out on the tail end. There's no salve on the PA, but Aridus, yeah, he has one on the Grimstroke. Get a salve, and I have a feeling Aridus will be buying a lot more of those, but Crow, again, finding a courier snipe, this time on the PA's courier.
That's a big one to take out. Should delay some value stat items. There's a Wraith Band being queued up here, Kukulhook, so it's not going to come out in a timely manner. And Gremlo can't just stun while the tower is shoved in, but has to be careful about diving too deep.
Yeah, they're going with the Ingswell now. He does have a lot of bonus damage, so he might just turn back around. Kukulhook is not backing off, and Gremlo is the one trying to run away. Just not confident in his ability to fight right now. Crow did come in just in case he needed it. They'll just reset in the lane. Goat. Find a courier. Very nice. Moonlight at least did get the items off the courier before it did go down. It's like Moonlight's just planning to chase him down now, as even mid lane Canis was taking a fair bit of damage. And Moonlight is going to get revenge. Gives him the tip.
Just the back and forth with the couriers. Lots of them dying so far. Still a pretty good start for Arkosh here. They are finding farm on Canis Vulpus, and Pale Horse is getting a lot more from his lane compared to what Kukulhook is getting from his own up top. So in that sense, the lanes are going well for Arkosh. They're still finding that steady farm. You will have to see what happens once they hit these power spikes. You have level 6 up at Canis Vulpus.
Aridus is dropping very low. Gremlo going to go for the chase. Looks like he is just accepting the fact that he is dead, but Kukulhook wants to keep going. He does have that evasion, but it's only level 1, still trying after Gremlo. Plasma Field, not going to be enough to slow him down. Crow might be able to get a trade though. He is out of mana. Meanwhile, Goat dies down to the bot lane. Now, Canis Vulpus will make sure they get the kill. The nice rotation there from the Void Spirit at the level 6 mark. Crow will slowly but surely make his way out.
Yeah, it's a valuable kill in the end. You trade away the Razor, but you found a kill on the PA, you found a kill on Aretes. You're slowing down this top lane. You're slowing down the Battle Fury timing that the PA wants to hit. So you just have all the answers. And with Canis Vulpes around, you could have gone for more, but he does TP away. So you just want to maintain these lanes, keep finding farm, and keep denying farm from the side of Latam.
Fisher out onto Aranus. Cookahawk to go in for the Earthshake kill, but the Static Link is going to be there, sapping away a lot of attacks. He gets the kill, but he's going to take a lot of harass out of this, and Gremlo is going to turn right back around onto Aranus, and Goat will come in and secure the kill. It looked like Canis Vulpes actually went down to Nanana over in the mid lane. Now Pale Horse trying to help out. Nana with an Arcane Rune wants to chase him down. Fisher is there, but chains are out onto the PO, forcing the Fairy Fire and Crow. I think it should be enough to save Pale Horse. Should be is the key word. Will eventually back off.
Yeah, and they find a couple of key kills on the side of Latam to keep themselves tied up 5-5, less than 1k lead going the way of Latam defenders now. They don't really have a way of transitioning to a great push, and that goes for both sides, although the shove up top is going a bit faster simply because Gremlo is zoning out the side of Latam, but they're not looking to give this tower for free. They did lose their bot tier 1 here on Arkosh's end, so Latam is already a step up just on objectives at this point.
Top lane. Light showing up. You could land a nice arrow, the death of Gremlo or Goat, but it looks like he's actually just arrowing some creeps for now. Because Latin defenders, they're just going to defend this top tier 1 tower. I don't think they're too worried about anything else.
Drunk sailor.
Gremlo's still going to try and apply that pressure. While Goat and Crow are going to start rotating towards the mid lane, where Nana has been caught out by Canis. A lot of damage being dealt. He does have remnants and will be forced to commit. Fisher could be there soon. Now he sees the Earthshaker. He's going to bottle up a DD rune, and the Fisher is not going to land either. And now Canis is in trouble. He's going to die. Goat probably not going to be safe either as they remnant forward, and Nana will be able to set up for another. Great play there from Latin defenders, and he even wants Crow. Doesn't see the Shaker be able to continue the chase.
Yeah, they've really built up on Nana now. Level 8 on that Ember, just running around all over the place and gets a chain, but no follow-up. So right now, Latin defenders just looking to take that mid objective. Dropping low in Nana, though. They have to be careful.
Yeah, nice little arrow there. Making sure the chase could not be committed, but he will go after Aranus instead, and he pops the Inkswell, but he understands his property is just going to die. Maybe Canis does back off, and Crow just got the Fisher back up. He might need it though. Nana has come back in with a remnant down, he's going to chase down the Earthshaker. Meanwhile, Canis does get the Grimstroke. So eventually they get the kill. And the Ember does not have any more remnants to keep the chase up.
Top tower needs some
Pale Horse.
Pale Horse. Arrow did connect. He's going to try for the TP play out, and he's going to make it. Valkyrie had Ravage, but was not really in range to get it there in time. Very clutch play there from Pale Horse.
I'm worried about this build-up in Pale Horse now, though. He isn't too far behind in farm, but he's queuing up the Midas. I don't know about that. We've seen this a couple of times in the PLs, and it hasn't really paid off unless the game goes really long. That does even out your farm, but this means there's no early presence from Pale Horse. He's not going to be able to join the fights. He's just going to sit back and farm, and it's up to the rest of Arkosh to enable this greedy play from Pale Horse.
I'm not sure if I agree with that decision either, John. Obviously, he's trying to catch up with that Midas, but it just never seems to work out whenever we're casting, at least. Nana chase down Canis Vulpes. Inkswell is there, but the Simulate will allow him to get out. The chase still continues, though, when they get the Silence down. Even Cookahawk is set to join on the PA, and they have the control. Kill off Canis once again. I think they really want to go after that mid-tier 1 tower here, Latam. They are making their way back in towards that area as Moonlight was popped by Moonlight. Keeping tabs on Goat. Pale Horse is going to rush in now. Radiant's going to really be able to get much damage off. Moonlight does buy enough time so the rest of his team can just get that tier 1 tower down.
Yeah, it's an important objective for Latam to find. You mentioned secure it so they can take over that bot jungle. Already have a nice ward in place. They're going to have to reward if they want to maintain that control. But I love this build up here as well on Valky. Going for the Meteor Hammer on side. They needed a way to push. Meteor Hammer allows them to clear out waves and get that objective damage done quickly. So just a lot of value already for this early pickup on Valky. It doesn't feel like they need Ravage at all. Like, it's not necessary to take these engagements so far.
Stiff win.
It's not the ice still. Never mind that. Spot lane, Aridus. Probably going to go down as Canis does connect with the Aether Remnant, but Moonlight's going to jump in and try to at least kill off Go. They have Cookahawk and Valky there. Ravage is also up, but they don't have the mana for it. But Canis is stuck anyway. He doesn't have any steps, but they don't know he's there.
Dire's middle tower.
They just leave him.
A bit awkward missing out on that kill. You're still happy finding the pick off on CM though. That kill going to Cookahawk helps accelerate this farm towards the Battle Fury. Cookahawk is still lagging behind even Pale Horse, so the PA needs everything it can get to play catch up. The Midas now for Pale Horse is done, so you can start kicking his farm into overdrive. I think the key here is he's trying to match PA's farm, so he's expecting the Battle Fury. He doesn't want to lag behind in terms of itemization. The Midas will allow RPL to sort of have that same scaling, at least in terms of hitting those spikes as a PA. So just trying to play the long game here. They are very close to hitting some other item spikes on Arkosh's, and Crow is very close to the Blink. And once you have that in the Shaker, the Echo Slams are going to be easier to pull off if you catch Latam defenders out in an awkward spot.
Bot lane, Canis. Way out of this one. Has two-step charges. He's going to commit one and the other, but he may be caught. Arrow is available and they get the chains anyway. That'll lock him down.
He's drowning.
It's already looking like a very tough game for the Void Spirit. While top lane, they even found Pale Horse. And that is an even better target to get. Valky, he'll get a tip off his close one.
Yeah, and you had to pop Ravage for that kill on the PL, but it's worthwhile. You managed to immediately punish the PL, and that does give Latam defenders now a big lead. 3k up at 13 minutes in, 70-11. And just look at Valky, just shoving out the waves by himself. There's nothing to stop him. They need to drag the heroes up. They are smoked.
Over there, they've got a plasma field as well. Valky gonna try for the TP, not realizing Crow was around. Crow actually has a very nice blink timing. I mean, the death of Valky now. Nice little kind of revenge kill. Rest of Latam defenders are still across the map, just forcing that bot wave, forcing in the mid wave. Gremlo's gonna TP down to address the bottom wave.
Is under attack.
He's down Nana for a bit, but he's just gonna TP right out. Now in the mid lane, bit of a group up here onto Aridus. They get the Fisher. Arrow not going to land from Moonlight, and that'll be a nice dead Grimstroke. Goat once again on the Crystal Maiden, the one to take the kill. But now, Nana's going to jump in on the Ember. Canis is going to be chased up. He has no steps available, so it's a bit of an awkward moment, but the Echo does come in. Crow landing it perfectly with the neutral camp, making sure his Void Spirit does survive. Moonlight now just out of mana, has enough for the lead. It will prove to be enough as the Aether Remnant won't land in time.
Just constant back and forth, killing off Nana is really big for the side of Arkosh, and they left behind a dug up bounty rune as well, just for the bottle refill. So lots of efficiency coming out here from Arkosh, punishing Latam defenders this time around. They are really buying space out for Pale Horse now, and the key thing for Latam is to be cautious about taking fights without Ravage. If Valky does not have Ravage, he's not looking to join these bigger engagements, and that's where Arkosh can start to shine with his blink on Crow. They can just go in, find a single target pickoff, they've got the follow-up, they've got the mobility now, and they've even got travels up on Gremlo, so I can get around the map much quicker and join in these fights as need be. So the response is there from Arkosh. They even out the game just a bit more. Latam defenders still need some time for the PA to get into the Battle Fury.
Jump up on the land. Rush is there, Ravage out as well. They've got the Razor under control. Static Link was going, but Gremlo is set to die and does. Into Canis Vulpus they go now. He's got two step charges though, he's going to be just fine. Crow. And Totem, Crystal Nova, freezing field. It's a lot of damage out on Eridus. Nana's going to come in, however. They are still going to be able to trade.
What's this? Dire fortified.
It still just seems to favor Latam defenders now as they go into the mid-tier 2 with the Meteor Hammer, even finding out Crow. With the chains out, he's locked in and he's gone down.
This deluge.
Another kill for the Dire end of things. Tier 2 mid is getting quite low now in terms of HP.
It's just under so much pressure, and Latam defenders are using their spikes really nicely. They stall out long enough that Cocohook does have the Battle Fury, so the PA can just focus in even more on farming, although...
Valkyrie's being chased up. Moonlight there with the Yules. Arrow. Oh, lad.
Aretis?
Gremlo now going to go back onto Aridus. He is trying to hide, but the Dust Swarm's there on the Razor.
Your ashes will fall.
Gremlo gets away. In fact, he keeps chasing, but he's going to get punished for it. Well, don't
Why
say
did you
what,
do
John. That was you.
Why'd I do that?
Doing.
Oh, still Valky.
Fisher, not really going to land, but they still get the kill on the Tide. Do get a couple kills back their way. Not too bad from Arkosh.
You know what it is, Mike? It's the cat litter. It's the cat litter. I'm just, I'm not feeling it. I told you my bag ran out, so I make these dumb moves like running down mid against the Ember, but at least we find a counter kill. Nana still not going to be too displeased. Tide doesn't have Ravage anyway, so they're not missing out on opportunities. With the Tide Hunter down, they are still buying time for the PA. Desolator now going to be coming up next here for Cocohook. And once you've got that, you can melt through a lot of these heroes. I wonder what the pause is for Arkosh, but looks like they need a bit of a break as well.
How's Pearls going? I mean, he's got the Diffusal Blade. His farm is actually going really well in terms of net worth. Especially when you compare it to Cocohook, but with that Battle Fury, he might be able to overtake the PL in just a few moments. Is deciding to go for the Deso pickup first, so not feeling like he's been pressured enough to force him to buy a quick BKB, which is pretty fair because he has been off the map for a long time without any pressure.
I'm still curious about what Pale Horse goes for next. Maybe still the SNY? But I think you might want to try to fit in that MKB here for Pale Horse at some point. Maybe a 4-item pickup. If not, sooner rather than later. You could still try to go for the Agshard Octarine. I just feel like the PA is a really good response to that already. She'll eat through the illusions. She's got evasion to tank up. You're not going to be able to hit her most of the time. If that is maxed out in Blur, so you're gonna have a rough time just trying to melt her mana before she can jump in and try to crit off you.
I'll blame Valky, gonna be around to defend. Try to gush onto Canis Vulpus. Crow, he's gonna come in, they're looking for a Fisher block, does get one. They are going straight to Valky, but now their help is coming in. Valky is still alive and now has Ravage up. He commits, Pale Horse cancels his own TP, trying to run. Meteor Hammer's not gonna land, but they have the control on the PL. They'll get him, they'll get Goat as well on the CM. Canis will just TP right in front of everyone, but they got the big target. That's all they really wanted.
It's a huge win for Latam defenders. Good bait forward. Nice smoke wraparound from the behind. They did have wards, but it could not spot it out. So just very great game awareness here from Latam defenders. Allows them to shove in the top tier 1, trying to clear out all the soft objectives off the map. And once you lose that top tier 1, you have complete control over most of the map now. You do see a bit of a shove coming out from Ken Fulfus, but can't really solo push by himself that fast.
Crow's waiting in the backside of this team fight. Ready with a big echo. Goat's just going to get deleted by Cocohook. Meteor Hammer again. Crow trying to get close. He's going to need a bit more help than just Gremlo, and it looks like Gremlo has called this gank off.
They're trying to bring down Radiant's top tower.
Radiant jungle meanwhile, Canis Vulpus. Yules off into the Aether Remnant. Moonlight Shadow has been popped. Nana might still be safe. He throws out the chains. Might have missed as well. Arrow does connect. Starfall, but there's your Echo Crow. We'll make sure they get the kill. Gets another.
Shakedown.
Nice. Ember worth a lot of gold there. Go to the way of the Razor.
Yeah, it's a good set of pickups for Arkosh, again, keeping it as even as possible. They still are lagging behind by 3k, and you do see Kukuhook pull ahead of that PL. So it's the point where Midas farm is trying to keep up with Battle Fury farm, and it doesn't quite line up. You do see a change in the build-up here for Palehorse, so he is going for the Manta style next. So not the SNY, not the Aether Lens into Octarine, it is the more traditional PL build, and I think the game does call for that, because you need to fit in the right clicks here.
Tower is under
There.
Grimlow chasing Valky.
Yeah.
Onto Valky. Fisher is going to block Valky in. He's going to try and stay on the high ground now. With the meteor having to be charged up, Goat has been left alone. They can't actually get through the Tidehunter HP. Just too tanky. Now Nana's here to just follow up. Kane is still around, has one step charge. We'll have two in a second. Going to try and get some damage out onto this Ember. Fisher from Crow will put a stop to everything. But Ravage is there. They didn't react fast enough into the meteor hammer. It's going to drop onto Crow. Canis still trying to help fight this one out. Crow is set to die. And Canis is a bit of a sitting duck right now. If it can find him. He's going to turn back around, back onto Valky. Gremlo trying to fight. Kukuhook meanwhile killing off Palehorse on the other side of the map. And is now coming in to help out with this fight as Canis is going along with Gremlo. Nana is still fighting as well. The help is on the way, very slowly but surely. Moonlight, oh, don't want to walk that way. Freezing Field expended immediately by Code. He'll use up, but he's got no lead charges. So a bit of a mistake there from Moonlight. That means he's going to die. And ultimately Arkosh, it's not too bad of a fight, but the problem is they did end up losing Palehorse on the other side of the map.
Yeah, that's not good news. You need the PL to try and keep up. The gap between the PL and the PA is just going to grow wider and wider as the Battle Fury farm starts to rack up. Kukuhook, though, is very strong right now. Desolator up, and the PL just kind of gets ripped apart once it does get focused down, especially if you get a couple of crits off. So have to be cautious with Palehorse when it comes to the core versus core matchup. Right now, it's not going to look good. You don't have a way of hitting that PL enough to get your damage off, and Kukuhook is also saving for the BT, although
Canis on top, no Ravage. It's gonna get used anyway. So Palehorse is still going for the shard. Are we seeing another Octarine after this Manta style?
Dire's bottom tower is about to flounder.
likely is. Like, in fact, I don't think he's going to finish the Manta cell at this point. He's just going to rush the Shard. He's going to go Shard, Octarine. He skips it. Just stays on the Yasha. I think you might want to value change that to the Sanjin Yasha, just for the added stat resist. That is going to leave an opening. I'm not sure how effective it will be against the PA, as it won't get hits in. The Roche is being rushed here by Latam. They do pull out in the end as they see the scan, but Arkosh isn't actually in a good spot to contest yet.
Roshan definitely going to be finished up pretty soon. They have found Moonlight instead, so they do end up at least getting the Mirana kill. This Roshan is just set to go down. Kukuhook will take it. Won't mind the Moonlight death.
Radiant are scanning for enemies.
Dire's
It's like Latam defenders, even without their Mirana, wouldn't mind taking a fight. You have Ravage and their PA does feel quite strong. You could wait for Kukuhook to have the BKB up, but I don't really think he needs it right now.
No.
Seems like he can do whatever he wants in a team fight.
They don't have enough control. Like, they've got to choose who they root up, who they control up, either the Ember or the PA. I think for the most part they'd want to get that control onto Nana. They are just gonna have to refocus in. Alright, it does look like Palehorse will go Manta. So he gets a Shard, but goes into the Manta as well. We'll see if it's still the Octarine build. I don't think you go for the Octarine. Maybe just keep that Shard, but the Octarine definitely can't slot in. You need right-click this game.
Arkosh smoked up, it's gonna break. Oh, low ground though. Nice Ravage there from Valky, holding down Gremlo. He'll pop his own BKB.
Dire structures are fortified.
Shot the
Dire's
Mirana.
top tower is under attack.
Ravage doesn't really lead to anything. I guess there wasn't follow-up after the BKB was popped. Pretty much be it.
Yeah, you trade Ravage for a BKB. The worst, but also not ideal. Now you have to wait for the next Ravage 2 minutes until that's up so they can get that push down bot. They will trade Moonlight away again.
Yeah, and Canis, he wants to go for more now. Getting the Yules up onto Aridus. He'll get the Grimstroke as well. Support duo down. Go taking another kill on the Crystal Maiden.
Bounty
More time for Arkosh. They just keep going.
Gold
Back to farming.
is a great conductor.
Yeah, they're trying. Chase na.
Oh, he hasn't got enough mana for Remnants. It's the BKB TP out of there. Do force the BKB, and that was the 10-second charge for Nana. That's gonna feel a bit bad.
Yeah, it's you're trading out these initial BKB timers just to get home for both sides. So overall, I think, you know, it kind of evens out because everyone's been popping their BKBs. It's not the worst. What's an issue now for Latam defenders is the fact that Arkosh is back at the net worth lead. So Pale Horse is finding good amount of farm. Gramlo and Candace Volpus are getting good distribution. The issue for Latam defenders is Valkyrie.
Raising Field is really nice, actually, but they do get the kill. Love to see a bit of follow-up there. They actually had the Echo, but they didn't have the mana for it. Pro may have actually committed for the Echo had he had the mana. Now Kane is going to be chased up. Use this last step charge, and they are going to jump in to try and chase him down. Arrow is going to connect with the meteor hammer follow. That'll be a dead Void Spirit.
tower is under attack.
Very nice hit for Hook. And he's even got a regen rune there if he wants, but it looks like the Ember is going to go ahead and bottle that up.
Dire's bottom tower is under
I
attack.
suppose they could go back into that mid-tier 2 now.
Yeah, they can try to get that shove in. We've got the Meteor Hammer to keep it stable. The Desolator should help speed this up. You do see Gramlo trying to split push the bottom lane a bit more just to get a bit of a trade going and force a response. And he does force a TP out, but it's not really necessary to have Nana around anyway. He should be able to get himself back to the fight if he wants to. The side of Latam defenders, I mean, with this kind of even game, probably don't feel too threatened. Like, yeah, they drop a couple of fights, but their PA is really strong. They've got Aegis for another minute 15. He could look to go for more tier 2s.
Dire's top tower is about to take the
Horse, you do not want to go up there. Ravage actually going to be juked down. Still, he's been caught. Soulbind going to hold him down. He's gone. No. Trying to run away. Probably isn't going to make it, though. Or maybe he will. Gremlo forcing them back. Hook now going to go for the fight. Gremlo pops the BKB. And they'll go on to Goat instead, but there's not much damage on this PA now. He's losing 202 damage. He'll jump back in on the Razor. Now a big Echo there from Crow to hold them back a little bit, and Hook starting to drop low, but he does have the Aegis. They'll get Valkyrie at least. But Gremlo now set to fall and does. Kane is trying to run. Remnants follow up. They are going to catch him out. Chains are there. He needs about 7 seconds for that Astral Step to be back up. And he's probably not going to have enough time, or maybe one more second. No. He dies mid-animation. Another team fight going to the way of Latam defenders.
Yeah, they just managed to make it work their way. They did pop Ravage, but doesn't matter when you find all the rest of these kills. It looked like a good turnaround with a slam, but not quite enough. And that reset on the Aegis actually gave Hook what he wanted. If they focused on everyone else first, left the PA for last, that might have been a different story. So maybe reconsider their targeting here on Arkosh's end. Latam defenders do retake that lead at 2k. They're going to set their eye to that bot tower. There's a double damage rune sitting in Hook's bottle right now, or borrowed bottle. And once you pop that on, not many heroes will live. There's even a Batcher as well in the PA. So you toss a Lucky Dagger out, you get controlled, you find a burst.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Defenders, tier 2 bottom tower gone.
Tower has rung its last bell.
Surprising how much damage the PA was doing even with all that stolen damage. It seemed like he had none left, but when he was critting, there was still damage being pumped out. It's going to be a bit of a worrying sign here for Arkosh. Kind of relying on that static link to keep the PA from jumping into these team fights.
Yeah, it's not quite doing enough. I think once you pop that BKB and break the link, as long as you're not completely in red, you're fine, although...
Also, they're gonna run right into him, but he has a sentry. He knows they're coming. He'll doppel away. The Inkswell is there with the Soulbind down, and he's caught. Maybe just not reacting quite fast enough. Without their PL, they cannot take this team fight. Arkosh is gonna find a way out of this situation.
Yeah, the build up again for Pale Horse, I'm taking a look, is the Octane. So Manta, Diffusal, Midas, Octane build up. It's gonna take a while for that one to pop up in this game. Although...
They found another. Canis is going at it. Dissimulate is there, but he does dissimulate away.
Double damage.
Arkosh doing standard Arkosh things, just trying to split push the other lanes and force back Latam defenders. Buy themselves some more time. Latam defenders not really caring about all that. Trying to hunt down Canis. One step charge there. All he had. All to the right side. Cookahawk started onto Gremlo. My god, that's a lot of damage. Just crits him down with the double damage rune. Now it's straight onto Canis Vulpus. And even Valky finding out Goat on the Crystal Maiden. Crow will save the day though, at least for Canis. The Fisher. But things are looking pretty darn bad as the game goes on. And make matters worse, John Cookahawk found an Orb of Destruction now. So,
of course.
It doesn't get much easier.
No. 1.4k crits on a creep wave and Ravage.
Yeah, top lane only connecting on Crow. Meteor Hammer is actually going to land. He kind of ran right back into it. And they've also found Canis. Dance is there. He has the Lotus. It's not going to help, and he's going to dissimulate.
Holy shit!
Still going to die. The dagger ends up critting him. Very unfortunate there, Canis Vulpus, but that looks like one lane of racks to me, John. I don't see any buybacks on Arkosh.
No, they could try to fight as 4 while Canis Vulpus is down, but you're not going to find follow-up there from the Echo Slam, and it's just tricky. Like, the damage output of our PL, it's not amazing. Pillars is just going to focus on trying to shove the bot wave instead.
Oh, jump in. Jump right onto Gremlo. He pops his BKBs. Unstatic link, but Cookahawk does not care. Remnanted now by Nana, going after the CM, but he may have gone a bit too far in. Arrows to fly out. One does land on the Crystal Maiden. Still going after Gremlo, but this Ember is falling low, but not low enough. He gets right out of there. Fisher. Out from Crow, still not enough. The Echo also being dodged down. Nana just stalling on Arkosh.
Women and children and Kuka first.
My goodness.
Oh, no.
Just not letting them hit him at all.
Yeah, they're good to go back in. That lane of racks you talked about, definitely gone now. No slam. They do have the freezing field, but I don't think Goat can get himself in a good spot.
Crow in danger. Trying to go Scepter to survive, but it is not going to help. Another crit. Kane is going to jump in after Cookahawk, but he'll blink strike away. They'll go on to Valky instead. Do they have the damage? I just don't think they do. Again, Cookahawk right back in, gets the bash onto Canis and gets the kill, and that means the Pale Horse is the only one left, and Cookahawk is still trying to get him. He's out of mana now, though. This PA might need to start retreating. But they do get that top racks, and it looks like that's going to be enough. Not for Arkosh, though. They come back in with the Fisher and the Shards. But I don't think there's going to be enough damage with just the PL. They smoke up and run. Valky doesn't have that luxury. He's going to try and TP, won't make it out. Now Gremlo is going to catch out Aridus. He's currently in mid, but it won't matter. He'll eventually die.
Dead.
Crow's trying to catch out Nana.
Dire's middle tower is drowning.
With the Fisher. Not going to be enough. Let's just remnant away. Crow's still trying, however. Has another push up in a second. Nana. Jane's out. Gonna go back onto Gremlo with the BKB. They kill him off. Cookahawk joins him now. Back on a Pale Horse. That's the target they want. And it looks like they might just find him. Cookahawk just critting him to death. On the run, might make it out. I can't say the same for Goat. He's gone. Very unfortunate stuff here for Arkosh Gaming.
And it gives a lot now to Latam defenders. 25 to 39, suddenly a 15k lead here for the Dara side. Win probability as well has swung their entire way, Mike. 96% their way, and they time it into the rush. Spawns up, they get to go into it. And this is going to be a very hard rush to fight into for Arkosh. Ravage is going to be back up on her tide when he respawns, so the high ground is going to be opened up again for a big team fight. You do have the slam to play with here on Crow, so you've got some options for the defense at the least in this next fight. But it's going to be a difficult one going into Aegis and Choose.
That it will be. Gorg even has the Ags up, looking for the Divine Rapier on the PA now.
Deceptive rune of invisibility.
To that mid lane they go. His Pale Horse does have buyback gold this time. See a hammer?
We turn this tide to our advantage.
Go. Some wards down. It's been a bit obvious. I think Moonlight with the arrow may have scattered that CM out. So a very patient kind of siege here from Latam defenders. The hook is in. Tier 3 tower is starting to drop quite quick. Try and slow this down. They are getting this PA quite low. In fact, the 4-star play is dragging him right to the Tier 4 towers. They get the kill, Banana. He's going to dive by himself those Tier 4s. Going after Goat, the CM. Just can't survive the damage. Should try to go for the freezing field, and it's actually going to help a little bit. The Ravage will come out in time, but Valky is going to die. Back from Goat. Want to try and make a chase here and try to win this team fight. You've got to be careful of Cook-Off though, because he's going to right back in and get a nice kill. The dagger's flying out. Canis is in silence up as well. They get Goat a second time. Don't get dieback on the CM. Pale Horse also dying on the PL. Canis. Kill off the Ember. Nana still not dead. Still alive, running away. Pale with Lance is going to be enough. So they have 2 down. Eridus. These Lancers blow him down and get the kill, but now Canis right back in after Crow. Wants the Earthshaker. Ain't the Remnant gonna lock him in? But do you keep going? It looks like the answer is yes. He crits the ES down. Now onto Canis Vulpus, wanting the Void Spirit. Can he find him? He might just be able to, but he's out of mana. He is completely out of mana here on this PA. He might just have to try and man-fight this now. I don't think he has any way out. And he's gone. Canis Vulpus does get the kill with the Dissimilate onto Moonlight now. Moonlight's going to try and run, but he is also quite low on mana. Looks like he has no way out. They will drain the rest of it. And that's a full team wipe.
Back and forth fight for Latam defenders. Arkosh Gaming finds the angles and coming back in, and they do get a huge bounce goal there. They hold on to their high ground for just a bit longer, and they get to maybe play catch up a little bit more as well. So all things considered, not too bad for Arkosh. I'd say that's the best situation they could have hoped for. Latam defenders need to take a step back, refresh, wait for the Ravage to be back up here on Valky. Maybe have to be cautious about lining up that Divine Rapier as well, although...
There it is. Caught out here by Canis. Remnant is going to lock him in, dissimulate damage, and that'll be a nice easy Grimstroke kill. Tier 2 mid tower they go now.
Dire's middle tower is under pressure. Dire's middle tower is
They're not really going to be stopped. Gremlo's just able to hit away for free.
I think you don't want to risk fighting outside right now while the rest of your heroes are still down. You could get picked off. You could lose additional heroes. It's enough space for Pale Horse to finish his build though. Octarine is up. He has a casual Ghost Scepter to ensure that he doesn't get out if he does get jumped in. So you have some answers now on the PL. You all the level 25 town. So you've got Doppel spam along with Spirit Land spam. And that can be hard to keep a track of, so there should be some utility coming out now from this PL.
Should be. I mean, the mana drain is pretty darn good. We've seen how potent it is. If you can just drain everyone's mana, they're kind of just stuck like sitting ducks, and you can just keep poking away. Well, lane Nana, he's going to show up. Pale Horse is going to be there to defend. Show himself from the Ember. Urge is there, and a lot of mana being... That's actually a lot of damage.
Oh,
Just illusions out.
Dire's top tower is about to take.
Oh, he has the cape
blood.
as well. So he's got the Egg Shard for his Spirit Land solutions, then he's got the Illusionist Cape.
This'll come in handy.
That passive just makes his illusions hit that one charter. Such a value neutral for something with the PL. Latam defenders, they might actually just wait for the next rush, and we won't see that for at least 2.5 minutes. We're not going to see the timing for it anytime soon. They are still farming a bit efficient here. You can see Cocohook has switched away from the Divine into the Nullifier to deal with those Ghost Scepters on hand from Arkosh's end, and should have the goal to finish it up soon. That should be another launching pad for Latam to find better trades in these fights. Prevent the durability of Arkosh from shining through.
I think Pale Horse goes for now. He's done, right? But you want to replace the Midas. You might even get to the point where you just replace the treads. Do you bother making an Ethereal Blade for the Ghost Scepter? Is he just going to keep it like that?
There's some value in the E-Blade. Once the BKB wears off in PA, and it is just 6 seconds now, going to 5. You can just constantly disarm her. That is one way to get done. I think maybe a heart, just to get some EHP up, try to tank through, because once the PA does start to hammer through with this Nullifier, then you're going to be in spot of trouble. So E-Blade it is dead. Never mind. There you go. Just the ice stats and the disarm down the line. The nuke ability is nice. So we'll see if it pays off for Pale Horse.
Dire
And that's soon.
scanning for enemies.
Top lane, Grimlow, BKB TP away. Hook could knock in range to try for some bash hits. Don't forget, he does have the Abyssal Blade as well, so the lockdown is going to be very nice here from this PA. Gleipnir up on Nanana, try and lock down Pale Horse. They found Goat. CCM, you go right after it. He is going to be a bit surrounded. He's going to be forced to pop his BKB and back off, but an arrow now connecting on the CM. But now they've got Moonlight. The Mirana out of position, does get caught out by Arkosh. And immediately
Even managed to find it.
Tower is under attack.
4v5 now. They feel like they've got the advantage. And Aether Remnant to lock down the Emperor, and he doesn't have a BKB available. And they stun him up long enough. Crow, get in there with the Echo, the Frostbite also, but Nana is still out. It's gonna be fine. Instead, they'll go after the Grimstroke, and they will kill off Eridus. And now Valky. Visha is there by Crow to lock him. We've seen this story before. XD's coming up from Canis Vulpus. Will eventually go down.
If you look long enough into the
Oh boy. This reminds me of game 1 a bit, Mark. Arkosh managed to find a lot of kills. They were behind the effort for a long time, but those kills did enable them to start finding bigger plays on map. Roshan respawns as well, and that's got a refresh shard. That's going to be very big for Crow if he wants it, and they are just going to go in. This is a bit slow with the PL. You don't have the same kind of damage as the PA does, but Latam defenders cannot come in. You don't have buyback in your tide. Valky's not going to be around for the Ravage. They could try to steal with the Ember. Nanana could maybe look, but I don't know if he's going to make it in time.
What have they done? Roshan slowly but surely going to drop. Defenders, they bring the courier in. They might get something out of that, but I believe it was bursted down immediately. Nothing with the courier. Indeed, Refresher Shard is going to be on Crow as well, so you do have that double echo, and that is really game-changing. Dota Plus is starting to change its mind, John. It was very close to 100%, Slowly but surely starting to make its way back up.
That it is. It's a back and forth one, but Arkosh, they found an opening. They're grabbing it by the reins. Interesting to see Pale Horse is going for the Lincolns as well, just to ensure that he doesn't get abyssalled up. So another way of ensuring he doesn't get controlled up there, or even blocking the Gleipnir off. You RPA still trying to finish that nullifier, holding on for the buyback gold. That's going to be a while until you're in a comfy spot for Coco to finish it up.
They've got Nana. Oh, it's not going to be there in time.
Ooh.
Late on that one.
Is a great conductor.
Cooklehook's got enough gold for the nullifier now.
Bounty.
Might just go ahead and pick up that sacred relic.
I think he might want to hold for buyback, but could also buy out and hope for a win.
Gold.
No buyback though with this buyout, so Cocohook has to be careful. They're going into the Aegis, they're going into the cheese, they're going into the refresh. There's a Octarine now on Crow as well. The cooldowns are a lot lower.
Yes, they are. Octarine's all over the place for Arkosh. Getting ready for that defense.
Dire's bottom tower.
Very late Aghanim sent in Arcanus Hawks. They have jumped in onto Gremlo, trying to survive. He's going to be able to run away with that BKB, but now Canis has been caught out. He has an Aeon disc, however. That will save him for now. Going to give him the chance to get out of there.
That is costly. Valky popped Ravage, they don't find anything. That's downtime for them where they don't get to get anything done. The bot wave just naturally shoves in with two siege creeps and 2 range creeps and a hell lot of melee creeps. So you get some free gold, free control out for Arkosh's end. Suddenly the game is not a clear cut. They are 1 racks down on Arkosh. They are 11k down in gold, but at this point, oh, alright, that's...
Catch out the Grimstroke, he's gonna die. Is this really a repeat of game 1? The other way around, is that what we're about to see?
Does look like it. Could look at the high ground. They are gonna go.
Alright, they'll give it a crack. They do have buyback on Aravis.
Dire's middle tower is drowning. Dire structures are fortified.
It will be forced. Arkosh still with the Aegis, might feel confident to keep going. Arrow barely going to miss there on Pale Horse. Not being caught out, Canis jumps in with the Science and might be able to blow him up in time. He's very low on Crow. Does get in there with the Echo and ensure they get the kill, but now Cooklehook does return the favor. Bats around from Latam. What a going up crit to come out. Cooklehook just ripping him tread.
They don't have buybacks.
Oh, not again. Pale Horse. Tell me he has a buyback. He does. He does. Okay. Pale Horse.
Oh.
He's gonna try and fight. He's gone though.
Oh, goodness me, gosh. They overstay, they're welcome on the high ground. Puck just pierces through and crits them down. Now they're gonna have to buy back. They need to make the hold of the century here with 2 heroes up against 5 and prevent anything more from being lost. Or at least prevent Megas for that bot lane and prevent the Ancients getting there.
Yeah, Arkosh jumped in. They've got those paper hands. Latam defenders with the diamond hands. Always having that buyback ready to go.
Inundated.
Oh.
Mid-racks dropping very low. Still, a lot of damage being dealt out. That Ethereal Blade and Gremlo going to try and move in. They have bought enough time for the CM to spawn back up. You've almost got your Shaker there as well. Looks like Arkosh are once again going to successfully hold this high ground. They make it happen.
They did force the buyback from Pale Horse, so at the least they get that tool out of the way, but they did have to buy back on their own heroes as well, so they're going to be down a couple. That does mean we might be waiting for the next Roche now for both sides before we start seeing big commitment coming out. And that Roche is still going to be 3 minutes away at the minimum, so we'll have to find is Cooklehook is going for the Divine, so just going all in on the burst play. Has the Fan of Knives on top of the Blur cooldown as well on the Axe upgrade. So starting to get fully slotted up on the PA, especially once the Divine is up, that's done. And there's not going to be room to grow. We'll see if that Divine pays off, or if he does get locked in, it can go back and forth. We've seen heroes on Arkosh melt, we've seen heroes on Latam defenders melt. There's a smoke though.
There he is. Goku in the front lines. But never mind, Gremlo found his target. It's the Moonlight. If away, Yule's up on Gremlo. He's out of limb charge. He's going to try PP, but an 8th remnant there from Canis. Gonna catch him out. Very, very nice. Now even Valky being caught. Aerial Blade again. Out for Single Horse. 8th remnant to lock him down. Nana moving in, trying to go straight up to Gremlo and cook the Hawk down. Double Abyssal Blade is out with the Nullifiers. It's still not going to be enough, but now the Ravage is there, holding everybody down. And Nana going straight after Canis, but it's not going to be enough yet. Now it is the Remnant flying through. Pale Horse going to turn around onto the Ember. Ethereal Blade, more Lances. Gremlo actually killing off Aridus. Does eventually die to the same hero.
Oh, Pale Horse!
Crow holding down Cookahawk. Pale Horse dying as well. Gremlo, the only one left in this team fight. Cookahawk, not afraid of the Razor, is going to try and jump back in on this. More buybacks being expended now. The Gremlo's gone.
It is an honor
2 diebacks there.
chosen for death.
It's up to the supports to hold the high ground of Arkosh.
They don't have Slam, they don't have a Refresh Shard anymore. It's going to be a very hard hold on the high ground, and the Divine is up from Cookahawk. So here we go. Let's see how big Cookahawk can crit. That should be one-shots on CM, at the very least.
Even on the Earthshake, it's a one-shot.
Yeah, it should be. Get those crits, come on.
Moonlight really wanted those kills. No GG call here from Arkosh. They'll go after the T4 towers. Remnants forward. Keep him in the fountain.
Radiant's middle tower can't handle this daily.
Might see it here from Cookahawk if he really feels a bit feisty.
Radiant's middle barracks are ready.
Second T4 down. He'll go after the Ancient. Canis is up in about 7 seconds. Nana, I'm gonna be careful to die, and Pale Horse just calls it. Ancient is too low. There's the Echo Slam. But it's all over. Latam defenders do manage the 2-0 victory. Hook is the call from Aridus. Here we go.